Hi, welcome back. If you're new here, pleasure to meet you. My name is Dakota. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and I read books and write books. And on that note, today I will be addressing perhaps the most frequently asked question that I get: how I found my passion and why I chose to study literature. Why are you doing an arts degree? How do you plan on monetizing that? How did you find the drive to pursue this? How did you know it was for you? How can I know it's for me? I figured a nice, intimate, candlelit chat with a glass of wine is suitable for this discussion because I need to get my thoughts flowing. To preface this, I must say that I am hyper aware of my privilege in this matter. Where I'm from in Australia, education is so readily accessible and available in abundance at excellent quality. Loans and scholarships are accessible, and we don't even have to pay off our debt until we're considered high income, which is many years down the track. I think that most, if not all, people asking me this question come from similar places of privilege and aren't asking from a headspace of survival or critical resourcefulness. If you are asking from that headspace, I truly mean it when I say I am so sorry, but I do not find myself to be reliable to answer that from that headspace of critical resourcefulness. I've never had to unlock that mentality. So people keep on asking me what I plan on doing with my English degree, and that's valid because a lot of people are thinking of starting one or already within one, but are looking for the drive and passion that I seem to have been blessed with. I think it's also important here to touch on the indoctrinated belief that if we pursue a line of academics, it means we are bound to that line of academics. It's first and foremost imperative to say that doing a degree in a particular field does not bind you to that field. People often laugh or dismiss arts degrees because they're seen as pointless, time-consuming, money-wasting, too easy, or when given any credibility, they're just a pathway or a gateway degree. And this is such a toxic and narrow-minded perspective to have. If you are studying, and you are privileged enough to have the freedom of choice when it comes to the line that you wish to pursue, you are by no means locked into that line that you wish to pursue. And if you want to be, then that's valid. Normalize getting irrelevant degrees that satisfy curiosities and pique interests. Normalize pursuing degrees for interest rather than survival, if you have the privilege to do so. Normalize thinking of a degree as a hobby rather than a life path. You can start a bachelor in law and transfer to literature. You can have a bachelor in philosophy and become a burlesque dancer. Don't let yourself be boxed into the expectations of those around you, specifically the generations above us. I chose to study literature because I was interested. For as long as I can remember, I have been a bibliophile and a poet, scribbling haikus on the placemats at restaurants with crayons, and submitting short stories to national competitions about love and loss and the repercussions of drink driving at just 9 years old. That short story terrified a lot of my teachers, but it went on to win an award, as did many. So I suppose that I have always been blessed with knowing where my strengths lay and my weaknesses too at that. I have more or less meticulously crafted my entire persona around literature and linguistics, but this hasn't always been the case. It's always been there, sure, but I've never been the person to be able to see things for the bigger picture. I'm the type of person to get hung up on the smaller details and read into them and stress about them when they are grossly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. So at the ripe and impressionable age, where teachers and parents and strangers down the street are asking us what we want to do for the rest of our lives, when we're still trying to work out whether to get the bus to school or to walk or to have toast or cereal for breakfast, they plant these trigger words in the most delicate folds of our minds, like lawyer. doctor, something that will actually make money, and we forget about the things that we love. We forget that in our society, in our generation especially, that we do have access to resources that allow us to pursue our hobbies as careers. Reading and writing for me was just a hobby. I'm not saying to run with whatever piqued your interest when you were younger, but I'm saying to at least pay attention to it. Pay attention to what gave you joy before you were told that that thing shouldn't give you joy because it's not worth your time, because it wouldn't make you money, or because it was not seen as valuable in today's world. It's not an easy process for most people. It took me 3 years after I finished high school to know what I wanted to do. 3 entire years of wandering around doing my silly little tasks, reading my silly little books, and writing my silly little poems, and not knowing in the slightest how to put 2 and 2 together. I always knew the gist of what I wanted to do, but I never knew how. I never saw it as viable. A degree in creative writing and literature, mind you, I'm still not quite finished, has unlocked and fueled my passion in those topics. It's helped me realize that it has always been the only thing that I have ever wanted to pursue. It's an obsession, I suppose you could say, and I'm very lucky to have that obsession on surface level. It is problematic when you scratch at the surface. Words are everything to me. The way we can string them together, phrase things so beautifully or bluntly. It's everything. It's magic. It's infinite. Spending my days analysing texts that I never would have dreamt of reading has improved my personal writing style massively. Being forced to pump out endless essays on literary devices and techniques, and write poems and short stories on prompts that I never would have even considered is a dream. Sure, there's weeks and assessment periods in particular where the workload is seemingly inordinate or irrelevant, and it makes me question everything, but I'm sure that's the same for most degrees. I currently am in peak assessment period, and it is the first peak assessment period where I haven't thought of deferring, so that's nice. Don't think it's all sunshine and rainbows. And personally, what I want to do with my degree, my end game, if you will, is to take everything that I've learnt and everything that I've noticed and everything that I've realised and to put it in my own literary works and be an author. And I'm already taking steps towards achieving that. Sharing my own literature whilst forever loving and absorbing that of others, that's my dream. I am well aware that level of education does by no means equate to level of talent when it comes to writing or most things in the art sector, but I am privileged enough to be able to take this as an opportunity to broaden my skill set, expand my knowledge, and enhance my capabilities by doing so. With that out of the way, and to answer the question, I assume the way that most people wished that I would have from the beginning. Some career paths that I have seen other literature and creative writing majors go down are, but not limited to, archivists, content creators, freelance writers, librarians, publishers, editors, technical writers, journalists, authors, English teachers and professors if you link degrees. I've also seen a lot of people take the things that they've gained from their degree in English and take it to social media, discussing literature and writing on channels that attract audiences, and I am lucky enough to have found myself on that path too. And on that note, I thank you all sincerely for being here and making my dreams a reality. What I am doing now is all I have ever dreamt of. I just didn't know it. Did I even answer the question? I don't know. The truth is I don't really know anything, but I also know everything, so take that how you will. I love you. Keep dreaming big, or little, whatever makes you happy. And stay safe. Until next time.